So I'll call the meeting into order.
Excellent.
Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
We have a quorum.
We do.
We do. I will note that Trustee Fata is in a location that was not covered by the meeting notice, so while he can participate, he will not be voting.
Okay.
Or counting for purposes of quorum, but you have a quorum of 3.
Hey, good morning,
so-
everyone.
Good morning, Trustee Fata.
So I'll entertain a motion to go into an executive session for purposes of discussing legal matters and or personnel matters.
Second.
Who moved?
You have to
Did you
make-
move? Okay, I'll take yours as you
Trustee
move.
Tishman.
Okay.
Okay.
Spiro seconded. Great.
We're in
So
executive session.
we'll head into executive session, try to get this moving as quickly as possible so we can get to the resolutions.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We are going to move to the portion of the meeting where we vote on various items. We just left an executive session where we received litigation updates from our counsel and legal advice from our counsel. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the April 24th, 2018 meeting. Unless there are any changes or corrections, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have 4 resolutions that we're voting on today. 3 of them are applications for new charters, and 1 of them is an application for a charter revision. The first application for a new charter is Harlem Village Academy West 2 Charter School. And where are you all?
Right here.
Come on up.
Come on up. While they're coming up, I'll just remind the trustees that Harlem Village Academy West 2 Charter School proposed to open in the fall of 2019 and eventually enroll 300 students in kindergarten through grade 5, and will join the other Harlem Village Academy charter schools. There are 2 others that together currently serve students in grades K to 12 and will expand the number of seats. So now that you're all here.
Could you introduce yourselves to us, please?
Sure. I'm Erica Newman, VP of Operations at Harlem Village Academies. We have 2 students joining us.
Okay. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jabel Jackson, and this is my 2nd year of HVA.
I'm Lucian Ortiz, and this is my 2nd year of HVA.
Okay.
And my name is David Zweibel. I'm the board chair.
Hi. Thank you all for coming. Is there any other information, Susie, you wanted to share with the committee about the recommendation to approve the application?
It's a great application.
It's a great application. The school provides an extended day and an extended year that actually includes, I believe it's about 300 to 400 hours, additional hours of instruction over what students would receive in more traditional calendar public school. The school's focus on progressive education is something that our team has found to be a real strength of what actually they've been retooling and putting in place. It was not necessarily the original portion of the HVA design, and I think they've been really thoughtful about putting those strategies in the hands of their teachers, and their teachers are deploying them really well based on the most recent renewal that I think the trustees just approved about 3 months ago.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I had a phone call with the board and other members of the HVA team just to get comfortable that they understood their governance role and had the appropriate people in place to provide oversight to the school. I will say that there are many aspects of their model that personally very important to me. We had a lengthy discussion about that on the phone call, but the focus on mindfulness and I think is important, and I'm glad that the school is taking a leading role in that, and then actually offered during the phone call to put on a program for other charter schools in conjunction with us to share what they've been doing. And I thought the focus not only on meeting the test scores, which the school is very focused on, but also on critical thinking and ethics, and giving every kid in the city the opportunity to have progressive education that focuses on critical thinking and ethical training is fantastic, and we'd like to see more of our charter schools incorporating those elements. So I'm very supportive of the application. Do any of the representatives of the school want to say anything, and then we're going to go to the students?
I'd just like to say that we are so appreciative of the support that we've gotten from your entire organization. Susie has been a reference material for us, and the concept of progressive education, as everybody in this room knows, is easier said than done, and it's been very challenging for us. And when you try to keep your test scores up and do the same thing at the same time, it's very difficult. And we've had our ups and downs with that, but we are moving forward on it. And a lot of it is the hard work that we are doing. A lot of it is the work that we're putting in with our teachers. But a lot of it is the support of your organization and your board. And that's so heartwarming to see that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Jamil, did I get your name right?
Jamil.
Jamil, okay.
As I said before, I'm Jamil Jackson. This is my second year of being in HVA, and my favorite subject in HVA is science. And the reason I love HVA is because it's a very unique and sophisticated school, and it's not like any other school I've been to. It's like has a special way of teaching you something. Like it's not just wanting to teach you something and then wanting you to process it. It's wanting you to really put it out there into the world to help you with it. And HVA, we're a huge community and we're always helping each other, even if we don't really know each other. Even if students or teachers aren't familiar with each other, we always try to do our best to help our community because we're all in this together. And anything HVA included, I would know would be a strong community and would always help each other do anything.
Lucian Ortiz, as stated before. This is my second year at HVA. I'm in 6th grade. My favorite subject is math. The teachers at HVA are very nice. They're friendly. The community that they have built is amazing. Everybody helps each other. The teachers, they tell you to find your own solutions to the problem. They don't give you the solutions. They give you one way to solve it, and then they ask you to find other ways and different ways, your own way to solve the problem.
Do you participate in the mindfulness and meditation every day?
We have it sometimes. Sometimes we don't. But yeah, I like to participate in it sometimes.
Excellent. Do any of the trustees have any questions for the students?
I do.
Okay, Ange.
I'm sorry, maybe not for the students, for the general group from the school. And like Trustee Bellick, I am fully in support of this application, so my questions are really more curiosity than an examination. Where will HVA West 2 be located?
So we are still finalizing our location, but our goal and the location that we're looking very closely at is in very close proximity to our HVA 1 location, which is on 124th Street and Lenox Avenue in Harlem.
Okay, good. I'm a little curious for K through 1, which is where we're talking about starting. The application talks about science, and it talks about centering scientific habits of mind, such as questioning, designing, testing, and analyzing, and using an inquiry-based science program. For a kid who's like 5 or 6 years old, K through 1, what's that look like? What's that? How do you instill those behaviors, those mental behaviors in young kids?
Want to try that, Eric?
Your operations, right?
Operations,
Let me-
but I've been in a number of our elementary school classrooms. It's a lot of hands-on, a lot of discovery, sometimes a lot of mess. But our end goal is to help our students get to a point where they're independent and able to come up with solutions. They ask a lot of questions, and we welcome that. I am not from the instructional side, so to speak, but it's a lot of inquiry-based and hands-on and fostering this notion of independence and getting them to what you'll see in some of our upper grade classrooms. David, I don't know if you'd have anything to
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from any of the trustees? All right, and with that, do we have a motion to approve the application for a new charter for Harlem Village Academy West 2 Charter School?
So move.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys for coming.
We'll come see you again in the fall, just
I'm
to
sure you
tag
will.
in on the growth.
All right, next we have the application for KIPP Freedom Charter Schools 2 and 3. Their representatives here.
There are.
Please come join us.
So great to see you again.
Hi.
Thanks. The KIPP Charter Schools 2 and 3 proposed to open in August of 2019, beginning with students enrolling in kindergarten to first grade and eventually enrolling students in all the way up to 5th and 6th grade in KIPP 3 during its first charter school, KIPP Freedom 3. KIPP Freedom 2 will serve 807 students in kindergarten through 8th grade by the time they are 10th grade, by the time they are fully enrolled. They are looking across 3 community school districts in the Bronx, 7, 10, and 11, always driven by facilities availability issues, and so don't have an exact address for them at this point. This for the Institute has been a lot of fun. The Institute the SUNY once authorized one KIPP New York City school, KIPP Star, and in 2011, 2012, that school merged into the other KIPP schools. There was a total of 6 of them here in KIPP New York City with about 5,000 students in it. So we didn't get much interaction with the folks at KIPP, and it was kind of exciting for us to get 2 applications for 2 new KIPP schools. The KIPP network has a long and strong reputation that I think the summaries and findings that Maureen prepared help underscore. I would just, one of the things that's most impressive to me is that I think this is KIPP New York City based data, gets students to and through college at 5 times the rate of their economically disadvantaged peers, which is an extraordinary accomplishment. And so we have gone through these applications with a fine-tooth comb, interviewed the board chair, members of the KIPP organization, and recommend that the trustees approve KIPP Freedom Charter Schools 2 and 3 to become SUNY authorized charters.
Okay, thank you. And I did have an opportunity to talk to the board and talk to them about their plans and was comfortable with the fact that they can continue to operate their schools, existing schools and the new schools with the same level of performance and oversight that they have. And it is your intention to merge the existing schools into SUNY?
Yes, we hope so.
Okay. Do any of the trustees have any questions related to the KIPP application for new charters? Going once. Going twice. All right. Would you like to say anything about the schools and what your plan is?
Well, we're very excited about the potential opportunity to open these new schools. In our most recent application period, we had over 15,000 applications citywide. But what we see is that over 9,300 of them are coming from families in the Bronx, which is why after 23 years of educating students in the Bronx, we really feel like we need to make a valiant effort to meet that demand. And so we're very, very committed to hopefully being able to expand our presence in the Bronx. So very excited there.
So, and how many schools would be merged over if we approve that?
We currently have 5 charters in the city at the moment, and we are opening a 6th one in August. So there are 6 charters.
The original was a conversion charter school, I think done,
That's right, that's
under Dr. Crew.
That charter is with the city,
Right.
and 5 are with SED.
Got
So we would work with you all to work out the best configuration.
So they had to give, they had to get, SUNY charters before they can progress on the timing of all of that.
Right.
So would you like to go?
Maybe. All right, any other questions? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the recommendation to establish KIPP New York City Charter Schools 2 with the authority to operate KIPP Freedom Charter School 2 in the Bronx and KIPP Freedom Charter School 3 in the Bronx?
So move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, we will. See you soon. We hope.
For the college shout-out.
Listen, that is such great data. We have a KIPP school in Albany.
Right, okay.
Right? That's right, but it's not KIPP New York City.
Right.
So
Like
different.
KIPP national license, but not KIPP NYC,
Yes.
LLC,
They're all gonna-
CMO.
The
They've
next
got-
step will be that they're all going to join on.
That's the plan, but they've got to apply to do the merger and then we'll bring that in front of you.
All right, the third resolution relates to the approval of a request to establish Valence College Preparatory Charter School, Queens.
Yep.
And
If some of the board and the
folks,
founders here.
please join us.
This school proposes to open in August of 2019 and enroll 112 students in 5th grade. The school's ultimately seeking to serve students in grades 5 to 8, just shy of 500 of them, and seeks to locate in CSD 24. This design we also found was strong because it provides the opportunity for extended learning hours. Again, over, I think you're like also 200 or 300 hours over what the traditional public school student would have access to. They had a strong proposal for a tutorial structure that would also support students with 90 minutes of weekly targeted academic support for particular areas of need. And that they had strong support from the community, including a letter of support from the Queens Community Board 4. And so with that.
Hi, Mitchell. Do you want to introduce yourself and the other representatives can introduce themselves?
Absolutely. Good morning. My name is Mitch Flax. I am the proposed head of school of Valence College Prep, and grateful and humbled to be with you this morning.
Hi, I'm Liz Shovers. I'm on the proposed board of Valence College Prep on the academic committee, and very excited to be here today.
Jose Santiago, on the proposed board on the governance committee. Thank you for having us.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I did have an opportunity to meet with many of the members of the board and Mitch, and spent quite a bit of time with them since it is a new school, making sure the board was comfortable with their oversight responsibility and governance rules and ability to handle the finances. I thought that the board had extremely good representation in various areas, real estate, finance, law, education. Mitch, like some of the lead applicants of other schools we've recently approved, including 2 in Buffalo, was in the BES training program, and
What's BES? Building Excellent Schools.
would you like maybe Mitch to talk to us a little bit about the training program so people can understand what that involves?
Absolutely. Building Excellent Schools Fellowship is a year-long fellowship, which is both a leadership development program as well as a sort of a school design lab to introduce aspiring charter school founders to excellent schools around the country. I visited over 50 schools in everywhere from Los Angeles to Memphis to Boston, as well as completed training with former leaders of excellent schools, including Stephanie Patton from Excel Academy in Boston, Sue Walsh from Boston Collegiate, as well as a number of other excellent leaders around the country.
What is your background?
I started my career in education with Teach for America. At the end of 2 years there, I decided that I needed some experience elsewhere, and I worked for several years in people analytics at Google. I figured out what made Google employees happy and healthy and productive, and worked with Google executives as a consultant. But after several years there, I realized that my heart was in the classroom, and returned to the classroom for several years before doing the BES fellowship.
Where were you in the classroom?
For Teach for America, I was at Skyline High School in Oakland, California, and when I returned to the classroom, I taught at a small charter school called Leadership Public Schools, Richmond, in Richmond, California.
You really move around a lot.
Well, Oakland to Richmond.
And are you-
How'd you end up in New York?
So my family is from New York. Both of my parents grew up in Queens. My heart is in Queens, and so when I was thinking about where do I want to spend the next 10 years of my life, plus Queens was the answer.
I'll call your mother and tell her.
Yeah.
And BES also provides some funding to help stabilize the school in the initial period.
That's right. BES includes a promise from the Walton Family Foundation for startup funds of $325,000, as well as a relationship with BES for the planning year, as well as the first few years of operation for follow-on support with a dedicated coach from BES to support the planning
Let me
years.
ask you a question, John. Where are you going to draw your teachers from?
The short answer is everywhere. The longer answer is what we think is important in a founding teacher is mission alignment and malleability. If you're coachable and you believe that every child that comes through our doors can learn, we believe that we can make you an excellent teacher. Now, what we hope is that we're going to get teachers with a range of experience. We think that there are many teachers out there in Queens and throughout New York who want to build an excellent school and who want to be part of starting something that we don't really believe exists in our part of Queens yet, or at least it exists in great rarity. And so we are going to look at a broad range of pipelines, everything from new college grads from area universities to experienced teachers who are looking for something.
I think it's so great for you to be in Queens, because there is a huge expansion. Every developer that I know in New York City is developing property in Queens, so you are going to really fill an unmet need. And so that's a really good plan.
I hope so.
Are there any charters in New York City that you look to as a model?
Probably the closest is Neighborhood Charter School of Harlem, which we realize has a specific bent in terms of the population it serves, but that's the school that I've walked into that most perfectly matches the agency that we want to develop in students, the high academic expectations, as well as the development of character in students.
And maybe you could just give us a minute on sort of what the demographics are of the community that you're locating in.
Corona is a majority immigrant community. 65% of individuals in Corona are foreign born. It's a very diverse community. It has large pockets of immigrants from Latin America, as well as a long-established African-American community for everywhere from Left Rack City up through North Corona. So we expect to serve a population that is approximately 30% English language learners, and a population that is very diverse, coming from a number of demographics in the neighborhood.
Excellent. Do any of the trustees have any further questions for Valence College Preparatory Charter School?
Yes.
Trustee Fada.
I'm sorry, is your name Mitch?
Liberty Valance.
Yes, that's right.
Hi. When did you graduate from BES?
Technically, I'm still part of the Building Excellent Schools Fellowship through the month of August, when I finish my residency at Excel Academy. That will be the end of the fellowship. But as I said before, BES does continue what we call follow-on support throughout the first 2 years of operation.
Yeah, I'm aware. When did you start to assemble your board?
I began having conversations in about August of last year. And I had over 150 conversations with individuals around New York City both from my network as well as cold outreach to individuals on LinkedIn to try and find individuals who are who believe the same things that that our core group believes, and over between September and January, we assembled that group of 9 strong founding board members.
Yeah, would you characterize as it easy, difficult, moderate to pull your board together?
Our board really, like I said, was built around a belief in the same in the same core beliefs of the school. That is to say that that every child can learn, that excellent teaching drives academic performance, and a number of other beliefs, as well as our board rallied around the community outreach that we did throughout the fall to understand what are the data telling us about what communities and the families in the community believe is necessary in a school. And so we as a board have thus far had a very strong working relationship, and one that pushes me and pushes one another based on the competencies that they each bring.
Yeah. Did you meet Joelle Farmello or Brian Pulaski, who are also BES fellows?
I have met both of them quite briefly. I've had a slightly longer conversation with Brian, but I have great respect for both of them and have followed each of their schools from afar, as well as having read a substantial portion of each of their charter applications.
Thank you. I want to congratulate you on your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do want to say that one of the things that impressed me about the board, and you have 2 representatives here today, is that in addition to finance and legal expertise and real estate expertise, you have people like Elizabeth, who has a real expertise in language and languages, and Jose, who has a real expertise in information technology, some things that we don't always see represented on our board. So I think you did an excellent job of pulling together people with a lot of skill sets that will hopefully help you knock it out of the park as you go forward. So, so with that, do we have a motion to approve the application of Valence College Preparatory Charter School?
So moved.
We have a second? All right, before we vote, Trustee Tisch had a question, which was how you got your name. She's not here, but we'll relay the answer to her.
Before, we have to do the before we vote.
Oh, she's just in the room. We're getting the answer to the question of how they got the name before we vote.
Valence is potential.
It is?
Chemically, psychologically, and so we believe that we're creating a school that that increases children's potential via the education that we provide them.
All right.
I haven't heard balances since high school chemistry.
That's right. All right. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thanks.
Rely on the Institute staff as you go forward with questions and things like that. All right. And finally, our last item of business is a charter revision for East Harlem Scholars Academy Charter School. Welcome.
Just want to point out a few things about East Harlem Tutorial as everybody's getting settled. As you know, that SUNY authorizes 2 East Harlem Scholars Academy schools. The first one, I believe, opened in 2011, and we just recently renewed the second school for 5 years in January. The committee voted to renew them for a full 5 years in January. Those 2 schools were founded on the legacy of, it says almost 57 years here, maybe 58.
60 this year.
60 this year.
Yep.
Of the East Harlem Tutorial Program, which was launched to support students in getting through high school and being prepared for college. And so now they're coming to us asking for a revision. They were kind of wise. They started their first 2 schools, K to 5 and K to 8. But now really are blossoming. It's kind of like watching a blossoming, right, into what the mission of the East Harlem Tutorial Program has been for 60 years. So you've got 500 kids this year, I think your website said, in the East Harlem Tutorial Program. not the charter, but the program for high school.
Yeah, and then another couple hundred that are in college too.
And a couple hundred that you're supporting in college. So we have done the analysis of their proposed high school program, both in terms of the financial strength of that proposal, also in terms of their governance and capacity to implement a strong educational model, and recommend that the trustees approve this increase.
Okay. Could you all introduce yourselves to us?
So, good morning, everyone. Cheyenne Batista Sanghaki. I'm the founding superintendent, managing director. I was the founding principal of our first school, and as our network blossomed, I've been overseeing at Jeff's side our strategic growth and development.
Hi. Jeff Ginsberg, executive director of East Arm Tutorial Program, and executive director and co-founder of the schools.
Hi, Sarah Caney. I'm the deputy superintendent.
Okay. Thank you for coming. So why do you want a high school?
I think big picture, the organization, really knows how to work with kids from early to see them through to the end of the college. We particularly know how to finish strong, so we're a college access and success program. We've now got 7 years of data from those students. With no offense to KIP's 5X, we're actually almost 7X the demographic peer. We're at 72% college completion, or on track to college completion amongst those students. And if you look at our demographics in terms of the English language learning, special needs, poverty, it all very aligns. We're a non-admission, no filter program, free to come and et cetera. And I think that's because I think we know how to work with students as they hit these high school age, as they hit the college age. And so we see no reason why we wouldn't build on the success of our schools from pre-K to 8 and also offer them the high school option. The other reason is very simple, which is the options available to students. It's a crisis in my view. I tend to look at the college completion rates amongst students. If you track it all the way back and through the DOE. And while that data is actually hard to find over the years, as we look at it more and it's coming out, there are very few schools you can go to that are not test-in schools in particular, where you have an actual majority shot of getting into college and completing. So I don't really see a lot of other options for students to go to that would be high quality. And the last part is demand. Almost 5,000 applications this last cycle for just, what was a couple hundred spots in our schools. When we announced we were going to try to plan for a high school, it was an eruption of happiness. And so I think, families want it. And the last part is we've got a plan and a vision to do it. And we've even just made a pretty incredible investment working with the Archdiocese to buy a significant piece of land just a block away from our original headquarters, where we're going to build a 75,000 square foot new high school, the first in generations in East Harlem. So I think there's a real vision coming together. So there's a lot of reasons.
Where do the
That's very
kids go
exciting.
now? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Is that what you were going to ask?
I just physically, you're on Madison and where?
So we have two locations. One is a co-location site at Madison 106. That's the well-known as the Central Park East building.
Right.
And then we built our own facility at 2nd Avenue and 105th Street.
Mhm.
That's another 55,000 square feet where we've got our other sort of pre-K to 8 operation. Then we'll have a single high school that we're proposing here that they will come into.
Where's the high school going to be?
104th and 1st, there's a location at St. Lucy's Church. The Catholic Church is not running there anymore. We've had after-school programs running there for traditional schools.
Mhm.
And we just a couple weeks ago announced an event that we've signed a purchase and sale to buy that property. We will need an interim solution for a couple of years, and we have asked very politely that the DOE accommodate this request. And we think that they may. And we'll be taking any help we have to make sure that happens. But we think that'll happen, and then they'll move into the private facility.
Can you just tell everyone who your honoree was at your 60th dinner?
Oh, yeah. So we just had our 60th anniversary party, and it was interesting. We did two things at once. One, we announced our first ever alumni council, and we had two of our phenomenal alums come and do that. One who actually helps lead Kip through college in her career, and another who's been successful in business, and who are chairing our own alumni council, raising money now for our own organization and building out for their own community. And the second is we honored a gentleman named Billy Rahm, who started as a volunteer in our organization when he was 14 years old, joined our board in his 20s and is now in his 40s and on our board, and has been an incredible business leader in the city. And it's also noted that Gala and Bloomberg did a lot of reporting on this, if you didn't see it, that our theme of the Gala was also talking about a lot of our racial equity and anti-racism work that we do, not the usual theme at a 60th anniversary Gala, but actually was really celebrated amongst both the funder community and the education community. So it was a proud moment for us. And we also raised $4.1 million in one evening at that event. So it was also successful in terms of philanthropy.
And where do the kids go now in terms of high school?
They're not up to that. So we're building this to be ready in time. So you guys authorized.
School?
The first school doesn't have 8th grade this year.
First school's up to 7th.
Oh, it's cool.
Interesting.
So we're having a planning year this coming year with the principal expected to be on board, and then we would open the following year.
Oh, you got to get a shovel in the ground soon.
I'm working on it. I'm wearing this suit for a lot of reasons. There are other meetings. We're working on it. So.
Well, not that you needed it, but I happened to be on the phone with David Nocenti a couple of weeks ago, and was asking him his view of charter schools in the community, and he added his endorsement to the work that you're doing. So.
Yeah, we have a lot of community partnerships on the ground. As you guys know, when we first got our schools authorized, I think at that time we were the only group I knew of that had both gotten unanimous support from the Community Education Council and the Community Board, which if you go back to 2010, 11 was particularly rare. We recall having our community meeting that had hundreds of people lined up to support us, and we hadn't even started the school yet. So it's been exciting to have that support.
Can I just add one more thing?
Please.
What I love about your schools is they are community-based, community-focused. They employ a lot of people from the community. And the other thing, and I can say this, but you can't, you are modest about your achievements. Uncommonly modest about your achievements. And it's really refreshing.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Do any trustees have any other questions for East Harlem Scholars Academy?
So I think I know the answer, but there are fiscal trends that are not wonderful, and I figured that Institute just thought about that. So how does that?
Yes,
they
were
actually,
purposeful
yeah.
in spending money in that last year. That's
That's
why
what
it went into the red.
That's what it looked like.
And I wanted to make sure to be here today to explain that as well, because you'll see we've had very strong years except for one, and we made a very purposeful, one-time, significant investment both in the facility and staffing up the network. And Cheyenne and I particularly felt like we brought on Sarah as an extraordinary deputy superintendent and another of our network staff. When you see this year's budget, we'll see we're back to surpluses again, and that will not change into the future years. And East Harlem tutorial program actually just made an additional $1 million capital investment into it to even make up for the previous year. So you will not see it again. It's a blip of a one-time investment.
Right.
Excellent.
Good question. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Trustee Fata?
No questions. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve the charter revision of East Harlem Scholars Academy Charter School?
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any abstentions?
Yeah.
No, I recuse myself. I'm not abstaining.
Yes, it's on the record.
Okay.
Different words. It's a balance.
Thank you.
I don't think it's the same.
The motion passed unanimously with one abstention.
Excellent.
That took balance.
Slash recuse. That's right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that concludes the voting portion of our meeting at 11:41. Does the Institute want to give us a general update, or are you?
Just in addition to the things that are in the memo, a couple of things that have happened since we sent the materials out. Legacy College Prep has actually satisfied the terms of its corrective action. That's something that the Institute does. We ask the trustees, if a school doesn't satisfy their corrective action, to place the school on probation. We are not doing that. They have satisfied the terms of their corrective action. We have put on corrective action, Kennedy Community Charter School, They've had a challenge getting us minutes on time, and so kind of some governance challenges. They did have a leadership change this last year. We think there's a little opportunity for us to help them get stronger there, and so we're going to do that by way of a corrective action, but that's the only changes.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank the Institute staff again for all the hard work they've been doing on this, and I know it's going to be a busy few months ahead, so make sure you get some downtime. And
But not too much.
Sometimes that's
But
up to
enjoy
you
some
guys,
of the
you
summer.
know.
You're gonna be you work hard for us, so enjoy
Thanks,
some of the
sir.
summer. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Have a great
Trustee
summer.
Fata.